All right, good evening, everybody. This is your Savage Sports Podcast Sunday recap of the NFL and the NCAA football. I know it's late. I know we still got one game going on right now, but hey, we like to take the time to get y'all up to date, and let y'all know who said it first. Yes, ESPN keeps up some of the stuff, but I mean, hey, we do our stuff on Thursday before they even start putting out their things. So, I mean, it's a good reason to sit here and tune into us. I mean, some of the stuff, yes, we might get from them, but a lot of times all the information that we're spitting out, aka NFC East, how they have this horrible conference, which we'll get into some of that stuff, especially the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we spit that stuff out first. So definitely tune into us and let us know what y'all's thoughts are and how y'all feeling about some things. Leave us some comments. Get live with us. But we'll kick it off. What you guys saying? What you want to touch on first?
I guess we'll start off with the NCAA. Saturday had some good games, had some wild stuff go on, some bad officiating. But LSU, they looked to be halfway decent against South Carolina. They dominated them. They did they did what they're supposed to do. So yeah, hats off to LSU for finally showing up this year.
They definitely were not the team that everybody thought they were going to be. You can't really go from winning the national BCS championship to losing two games right off the back and expect them to actually not be good. I mean, what other team has ever won a national championship and came back the next year and blew the first two games in the season? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they were one hit wonders. They wasn't ready for Burrow to leave.
no, they definitely weren't. I mean, you can chalk it up to recruiting or whatever you want to go do, or if it's coaching or something else, poor planning. I don't know, but never have I ever seen a team win a national championship and come back and start off that poorly. I mean, Alabama hasn't done it. Ohio State hasn't done it. I mean, even when Texas won it one year, I mean, they didn't do that. They didn't start off that bad. I mean, you expect bad games, but horrible games? Nah.
Yeah, and that's what LSU did. So it was good to see them get a win, especially over South Carolina, a team they should beat easily, and a team they did beat easily. Um, Sticking with the SEC, Alabama, they put a whooping on Tennessee, beat them pretty much how we knew they were going to beat them. Uh, yeah, I had high hopes for Tennessee this year, but they are just showing me those hopes were, yeah, wasn't even worth hoping for.
No, Alabama is still one of the top programs. Can't really change that. That's just how it is. I mean, Tennessee, will they eventually come back? Yeah, we'll treat it like Clemson maybe. I'm not even giving that many high hopes on that part of it, but at some point, I'm pretty sure they're going to become relevant and actually crack that 500 marker and be up to like the 750% as far as winning and at least try to compete for a high bowl game or something. But I don't see them actually going into the BCS national championship playoffs anytime soon.
Well, Tennessee, they Pruitt can recruit and he can coach defense, and that's what they need more offense right now. Though the defense they look bad too, but yeah, to me, I just had bigger expectations for Pruitt because I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good recruiter, especially and with the talent he signed over his last 3 years. I expected to see a little bit of a different Tennessee team.
I can agree with that one. I mean, the recruiting is the first step. I mean, you ain't got the players, you ain't going to have the team. Once you get all the players, then yeah, the team will start coming along. Speaking of Alabama, Waddle gone for the season.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle, he is going to have surgery. He is out. He is done for the rest of the year. Sucks. Uh, Waddle's a really good player, but that's what's so bad about Alabama, man. They got the next man's up. They're loaded. So there's really no. I mean, did they really lose anything? Yeah, he's a great athlete, but didn't look to me like they missed him at all.
True. And does Alabama have a curse on them or something? I mean, you got Tua last year breaking his leg and his hip, and then you got your star receiver pretty much gone too with that one. I mean, what's next? Offensive line, linebacker, like star safety? What? I mean, that's back to back years. You haven't lost just a decent player, but you've lost your star player.
That's true. That's true. But I kind of agree with Saban. He should have never brought that ball out of the end zone. Uh, that's one of those plays where he should have left it alone and nailed it or let it bounce over his head, take a touchback.
Yeah, but hey, he took his chance, and yeah, he's going to have to deal with those repercussions. I mean, I get that each team probably has some depth at receiver, but it's hard to replace your star player, man. Like it's hard to. Even if they're doing good at that point. I mean, that's some shoes to fill. I mean, is that next person? Is their X receiver, Y receiver, Z, like their true freshman? Anybody? Are they really, really ready to step up at that point in time?
I don't know, but Saban seems to have them ready. That's my whole thing on it. Saban seems to have them locked in. No, it doesn't matter if you're the third string, second string, or you're the star. Saban does seem to have those guys committed. So we'll see. We'll see if it affects Bama in the long run. I don't think it will. I wish it would. I wish they stopped winning every damn thing, but I don't think it will.
No, probably not. Probably not. But we'll see what Alabama does. I still say they'll probably make it to the BCS national championship playoffs at the least. But I mean, they don't really have too much other competition right now. I mean, so what else you got?
And speaking of winning in the SEC, Auburn gifted another win by the SEC officiating crews. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can lay the blame on Lane for faking a field goal when he could have went up, got 3 points there. But that officiating was horrible that entire game. Auburn should have not have won that game. The punt, the guy touched the football. It hit his hand. Ole Miss was covered. They scored. I don't understand why Lane didn't challenge that. That was kind of mind blowing to me. But yeah, these SEC officials gifted Auburn, and it seems like they're doing it a lot lately.
Hey, everybody's got to have their favorite team. I mean, I'm. It's what can I say? In my opinion, if we're going to go referee wise, regardless of what conference it is, I mean, if it's an SEC team playing an SEC team, I got it. If it's an out of state team playing an out of state, well, like we'll just say Auburn playing Oklahoma or something. I don't think they should have referees for either one of those conferences actually ref that game. It should be an outside conference referee crew refing that game regardless. Because eventually you're gonna have somebody that's gonna sit there and be like, okay, hey, favoritism, whatever, we got it. Home team gets the home team advantage. Got it. Tie in the end zone. Well, it looked like the receiver stripped it from him at the end, but we can clearly see that the DB caught the ball first. Like, no, I mean, you can't show favoritism like that. So I mean, they should be referees should be coming from outside conferences when it comes to games that aren't necessarily centered around the conference. And Auburn, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess they're trying to make up for the Georgia game or something.
I don't know. I don't know, but that was a horrible call on the officiating part. And then another horrible call. I don't know if you got to see the play. Indiana upsetting Penn State with the 2 point conversion. Talking about your boys in the Big Ten there, your Big Ten conference. That guy was down. His knee hit, his hand hit, his elbow hit before that ball broke the plane. Not a Penn State fan. Glad to see them lose, but yeah, they got robbed that game too.
Oh, they did. They shouldn't have been in that position to start with, but they definitely got robbed. Even watching the replay, even when you're talking about the elbow, the knee hit, and everything else, the ball hit out of bounds before it even touched the pylon. Like you could see it touch the ground, shift in his hand just enough when he puts it over there, and then it hits the pylon. There is no way in the world they should have called that a touchdown. That should have been game over right there.
Game over, but also on Penn State side, poor clock management by the coaching staff cost you the game. We watched that happen with the Falcons today. Same thing, poor clock management. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Speaking of, but sticking with the Big Ten, who's the most impressive team? I know who you're gonna say, but who was you most impressed with out of the Big Ten this weekend?
I mean, honestly, it would have to go between Wisconsin and OSU. I mean, that one's that's a toss up. Well, I say Wisconsin came out and dominated. Yes, they did, hands down. But did OSU actually put their foot on the pedal? pretty much the second half, yes, that's pretty much what I was expecting at the least bit. So right now, as far as the full game goes, Wisconsin takes it, but OSU came out and showed like they should have been doing in the first place.
Well, I'm gonna hurt your feelings a little bit because I'm gonna go Michigan. I thought the Gophers were gonna beat them. Michigan did what they should have done to a team like Minnesota. They just slapped them around the entire game. So I got to go Michigan, man. They look sharp. That defense looks good. They were murdering that Minnesota quarterback all night long. So I'm definitely going to go Michigan here. Not saying they're the best team in the Big Ten, but they did beat a quality opponent. Wisconsin, they beat Indiana or Illinois, and then Ohio State beat uh, Nebraska. And I think if you're looking at the three opponents each played, Minnesota's a little tougher than those other two. So I got to give it to Michigan. Right now, Michigan looks the best in the Big Ten to me.
Ooh, Michigan. I mean, well, we'll get to see that battle later on either way. I mean, they got to go over there and play the Buckeyes eventually. So, I
I'm
mean,
not.
we'll
I'm not
definitely see
saying they're
that.
going. I'm not saying they're going to beat the Buckeyes. I'm just going to say that they looked good. They did, and so I was wrong about them. I picked the Gophers to win, and clearly I was mistaken on that.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. It happens. I mean, Minnesota has not necessarily been the team of the past. So, I mean, hey, hats off to them. They won. They won. Hands down. I mean, can they keep it up is the question. I mean, they still
Yeah, and
got.
that is the question. It seems like Harbaugh always seems to they just go down quickly. It's they lose to teams they shouldn't lose to a lot under Harbaugh,
Yeah,
and
they
then
still got to go play
Ohio,
Penn State too.
yeah, then Ohio State dominates them. So I don't see that change. Now to
Yeah.
jump to a good question tonight, I saw the top five or the top 25 come out, but I want to talk about. I think it was the number 14, Georgia, ranked fourth in the nation with a loss. Why are they ranked in the top five right now? Bama beat them like they stole something. Uh, I don't understand why Georgia's. There is too much favoritism, in my opinion, in these polls. Like it's Georgia's an SEC team, so we got to give them. They lost to Bama, so they're top five. That Georgia's not a top five team. Top 10 maybe, top five no. This I don't like. I'm sick of these rankings. I'm sick of the way they come up with it.
What prominent team has Georgia beat so far?
They beat Tennessee, which is not hard to do right now. Let's see. They beat Auburn, which isn't hard to do right now.
Didn't Auburn
They
lose to
lost.
South Carolina?
Yeah, Auburn lost South Carolina, and I'm trying to remember who else Georgia's beat, but they haven't beat. I mean, yeah, they haven't beat anybody worth top five ranking, in my opinion.
No. No. I'm not saying
I
that
don't
they
know.
suck, but top five, no. There's still other teams, I mean, that are at least have a perfect record at the moment, even if it's already started playing since the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, K State happens to be one of those teams. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and boost up K State, but they haven't lost.
That's
Why,
true.
why not give them props?
Well, because
Yes,
K State really ain't beat anybody. I mean, Oklahoma, I guess, yeah, you can count as a good win, but Oklahoma's not the same Oklahoma we've seen over the last few years anyway. So I don't know.
I get it, but
These
it all depends on the dominance too, on how big they're actually winning on the win. But still, I don't really see how a team that can be 4-1 or 5-1 or whatever with a loss on the record be still in the top 10 when you have other teams that are still undefeated. At least give them close enough to the nod to make it a chance for them to actually pop above them eventually, versus sitting there having them stuck on the back like, oh well, they haven't played anybody. Okay, when it comes down time to it, then they play someone. Got it. We'll see the difference. If they really suck, then they're gonna lose. But
That's true, but I need to give a shout out real quick if Major's still watching them. Wake Forest Demon Deacons, man, they beat. You called it, Griff. They beat VT.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
hey, shout out to Wake Major. I bet he was celebrating that one a little bit yesterday.
Oh, he probably was. He probably was. He probably took back a drink or two for that one. But yeah, like I said, Virginia Tech is Virginia Tech. They normally put up a pretty good team, but they don't never capitalize when it counts.
No, they haven't been the same team either since Beamer left.
No.
And I'm not even going to talk about Florida State and that disaster. They are trash. That defense is trash. The team's got no heart. They got the big win. They got the big head. And they come out and got curb stomped by one of the worst teams in the ACC, Louisville, a 1-4 team. Beat them like they stole something. I am over Florida State. I don't even want to talk about them the rest of the year.
I
Sick
just
of them.
gotta say one thing about Florida State and Louisville. I called
You did. You did. You
it.
did call it. So, Griff, why don't you take us into the NFL? Anything that we had some good games this weekend, man. Some crazy games today.
True. I'll save some of the best ones for last, but we'll start off with the weakest conference in the NFL right now. We'll go back to Thursday night. Philadelphia and the Giants. Yeah, Philadelphia and the Giants. That's about all that needs to be really even said about that one. Those victories don't necessarily count. They're still fighting for a top 10 draft pick at the moment, and whoever actually makes it to the playoffs gets their playoff berth just because of conference, not because of winning record whatsoever. Is probably going to get smashed on their first week they play. It's almost a given. Um, but then you
Yep.
had the bigger game right now, which I was almost surprised on, but granted, Washington did to Philadelphia too. Their defense pretty much dominated Dallas versus Washington. Even with Andy Dalton being the quarterback, I still expected more. It's not like their offense is really lacking for weapons whatsoever at Dallas, but 3-22.
What blows my mind is Dallas has always been known to have a great O line, and the defense is just so shaky this year and such garbage. Uh, yeah, and then the Andy Dalton hit and he leaves, so you know he's going to be in concussion protocol. Probably not going to get to play next Sunday. It's time for Dallas to make a move at quarterback. You've got several decent quarterbacks out there. We've talked about this before. It's
Yep.
time to make a move because and the hit on Dalton was dirty. It was why we have soft football now because guys he goes into a slide and the guy I don't remember the guy's name that hit him, but he's sliding and then you duck and just take his head off. Come on, man. We got to play the sport cleaner than that, or they'll have them playing two-hand touch out there.
Yeah, and they tried that last year pretty much with the quarterback. I mean, who was it? First game of the season, Ben Roethlisberger got like 5 personal foul calls for him when they literally just pushed him and like tackled him and he's sitting there fighting off, but yet they landed on him or they came up close to his face mask or they hit him like as he was in the process of throwing the ball. I mean, it was just roughing the passers and just stupid calls. I mean, I get protect the quarterback. Like in Andy Dalton's case, protect the quarterback. If he was turned into a runner, if he was pulling some Josh Allen kind of stuff, I got it. He's almost free game. But
Yeah, it's
sliding
free
down,
game at that. But he's sliding. No, there's no need for that.
no. And it
I
wasn't
mean,
even like,
that's gonna get somebody badly hurt, like a broken neck
yeah.
or brain damage the rest of his daggum life.
I think the last hit I've ever seen like that one was it was Jordan Reed with Washington and Delaney Walker at least 2 years ago, and they were both going across the middle. The dudes just got rocked, but I mean, they called it as hitting a defenseless receiver, but both of them had got the ball and took at least 2 or 3 steps and just turned around at the wrong time and just got rocked. And I saw them just pretty much catatonic, hands up like this and just chilling out cold. I mean,
And, and I can remember the hit on Steve Young. It was a Monday night football game. They were playing the Cardinals. Young took off, and man, he got murdered. Like I legit, like they cut to commercial quick, because it looked like he was flatline, man, and that hit ended his career. So yeah, we got to protect the quarterback. You can't slide like that, or you can't hit them when they're sliding like that. So
no,
yeah,
that should be one of those ones like honestly, he deserves a fine. He deserves to get ejected from that game. He honestly deserves to be suspended just for that one by itself. I would say at least a 2 to 3 game suspension just following that
Yeah.
one because it ain't like they haven't
And
talked
finding
about it. Yeah, it ain't like they haven't talked about for the past 2 or 3 years about hits like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Do I miss the old school hits with people just getting jacked up? Like a little bit. Favorite one, Denver Broncos, Philadelphia Eagles. Steve Atwater, one of my
the
favorite
GOAT,
safeties ever,
the best that ever
hands
played.
down.
Do you remember? Do you remember the Kansas City Chiefs old running back Christian Okoye and
Yep.
him and Steve Atwater going? Oh man, those were some hits. God, those
Yes,
two dudes
I
going
do.
at it
But
were
like,
fun to watch.
I remember that hit. I remember watching it. I remember the receiver catching the ball and like I can just imagine what was going through his head when he sees Atwater coming at him from the front, and then the DB already chasing him down from behind, and he just melts. Like that's the one time I've ever seen a receiver literally just like melt Jello leg, just slumped out, and watch Atwater just kill his own DB. Like I remember
Yes,
watching that game.
it's a bad day when you see Steve Atwater coming at you full charge. You know you about to get rocked.
Yeah. Like, oh well, yeah, both of them went out that game, but like I miss the old school hits where like they honestly just hit. I mean, not necessarily trying to take off each other's heads. I mean, the form was a whole lot better, but headshots just to take people out, like no. But hitting somebody, just like demolishing them, like a good actual tackle, no, no. That's like my kid showed me a video the other day. Well, actually, it was yesterday. It was of a high school football game, and they had a little guy running the ball talking about, yeah, he's pending heart surgery tomorrow, and they're trying to get him a touchdown. Like he takes off running, just running down the field, like, yeah, I'm gonna score, and then out of nowhere, the safety, which apparently is 45 yards down the field for no given reason when they're running the ball, just comes through and just spear tackles the dude, gets up all Hulk, like, yeah, yeah.
I've seen that video. I'm going to hell because I laugh every time I see that video. Every time I watch it, I laugh.
Yeah, I was just like, that's just wrong. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, but it was a good tackle, but that was just wrong. But like hits like that, it was a good form tackle. Was it wrong for him to do it to that dude? Yeah, he missed the huddle on that play.
I'll tell you what else, though, is speaking of something funny, the Atlanta Falcons, the joke of the NFL right now. I mean, what is going on in Atlanta, Griff? They are horrible.
Well, let's see. It starts off with week one versus Dallas. And you can't recover an onside kick because you're waiting on Dallas to pick it up for whatever reason, and then you end up giving them the win. Um, yeah, they're just point shaving. That's the only thing I can say. That's the only thing that makes sense to me is just point shaving.
Watching Gurley, watching Gurley fall down and accidentally scoring was hilarious. And then Detroit beats you. It doesn't just like their luck is just gone, man. They are shit right now.
Yeah, I can remember when Detroit before who's the quarterback right now? It just left my mind. Um,
Stafford.
yeah, before Stafford got there, anybody losing to Detroit, you should almost been ashamed of yourself. Like ashamed. Not just a little bit, but like an 0-16 team beating you or even coming close to beating you, you're like, hey, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but y'all need to get y'all stuff together hands down. This is just ridiculous. But since Stafford has got there, they've made them at least competitive and not necessarily suck so bad. But there is no way in the world that I would have actually seen Atlanta losing to Detroit, even with their rookies that they have. I mean, even when they had and everything else, there is no way that I really even see them losing to them. But Atlanta is on they're downhill. It's like a 3-6.
Yeah, they're
Well,
down, and they got to get rid of Matt Ryan. I think it starts there. Ryan's got to go. He's not the quarterback he was 3 or 4 years ago.
let's see. This is what's bad for every team in the NFL right now that is actually losing. Every team that is actually losing right now is losing because of quarterback play. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that's going to be coming out this year in the draft that are actually stand out. I mean, besides Clemson's quarterback, I mean,
Yeah.
Possibly Fields if he decides to even leave, unless he's got one more year left on contract. As far as college goes, I mean, there's not a lot of stand-up quarterbacks that anybody really, really wants or even can use on the team. And I
Yeah,
mean,
that's very true. It's going to be a bad year for quarterbacks in your draft class. So if your NFL team does not get a good quarterback, if they don't got first pick, they're not getting a good quarterback. I mean, maybe Fields. Fields might go. I think Fields can enter the draft this year, so
yeah,
he may take off.
yeah. I mean, I see
But
some
we
trades
had
happening for it, but that's about it.
yeah, and we had some close games today, very close outside of Falcons and Detroit. The Bills and Jets were pretty much close. Cleveland squeaked by Cincinnati, 11 seconds to go, and Baker Mayfield tosses it, and they get the touchdown. They pulled that one off, and another
Lost
close
ABJ
game.
too.
Yeah, but another close game that's going to break Griff's heart was the Steelers taking down the Titans, and now the Steelers are the only undefeated team in the AFC left. But I did get to watch my boy FSU former great linebacker Vince Williams take old Henry's head off today.
He did. I'm not going to say anything about that play specifically, but yes, he did. But at the same time, apparently, if your last name is Watt, you can take down Derrick Henry by yourself. That's one of the things I will say right there, because I saw TJ Watt take down Henry twice by himself, no help needed, and I also saw JJ Watt do that stuff about 2 weeks ago. So I mean, if your last name is Watt, you pretty much got Henry's number to a certain extent. Now, with a little bit of full speed going, I don't see it turn out that way. But where he gets going, yeah, you pretty much got him. But honestly, that game, I am upset with it. I definitely am, because they started off slow the whole first half, and in the second half they had Pittsburgh's number, but they can't start off slow like that. And even still, I'm mad at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Pittsburgh done that shit on purpose. They could have kicked a field goal at the end of the first half instead of throwing the ball deep, which therefore would have forced Vrabel to actually go for it on fourth down to actually go get a touchdown instead of depending on Gosh Chosky. So I mean, no, I'm mad at I'm mad at Pittsburgh. They set Titans up for failure on that one.
Well, y'all's kicker's trash, man. That's all I got to say. Y'all's kicker is trash. I thought the Rams kicker was ass. Nah, bud, y'all's trick kicker is ass.
How are you perfect from 50 plus yards on the season, but yet you're under 500 for under 45 yards?
Hey, I can't. I mean, I can't knock it because look, I don't know what it's like to be a kicker, right? And you got the game on on the line, and it's in your hands. I mean, you got to be feeling a little butterflies in your stomach, unless you one of the greats like Morton Anderson or something like that, who's used to that pressure, or Sebastian Janikowski.
Josh
So
Tucker or Justin Tucker?
yeah,
I will say this much. If anybody's ever seen it, the movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, what he said on the last play of the game, hey, winners always want the ball in their hands at the end when the game is on the line. He didn't want the ball. He didn't want the ball.
no,
But
he
yeah,
did not.
it was. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
upset about
and
it.
there's plenty of kickers out there, man. There's good kickers on the free agency market. I don't know why Tennessee don't go after one. Same with my Rams. I wish they'd go after somebody. I think actually we just picked up a kicker, but the name slips me. But it's a good one. But yeah, our kicker's trash.
Yeah, they set themselves up for failure with the kicker. I agree. Did he win 2 games? Yeah, he did. Did he help them get one victory? Sure, he did. Has he made them have close games because of his kicking? Hands down. And yes, Ben Roethlisberger was shocked at the end of the game and he missed the kick. You see him on the sideline looking like it was horrible.
Well, I ain't gonna make you relive this too much longer. We'll move on and we'll talk about. Hey, and I said Raiders, you said Bucks, but Tom Brady, man, TB12. God, that dude threw for what, 5 touchdowns today? Uh, I don't know. Did Brown play at all?
No, he ain't played yet. He's still not available at the moment. So, and
Okay,
sitting on the practice squad.
I got stuck watching Denver get their head beat in by Kansas City. So I didn't get to watch much of that. It was Kansas City special teams in the snow, returning 2 kicks for touchdowns, and linebacker picks it off, takes it for a pick six. So, and Le'Veon Bell looked good. I'll give him that. Every time he touched the ball, he picked up positive yards. So maybe he just. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Did you hear what I said about Bell or no?
Every time he got it, some positive yards. Yeah, he stopped
Yeah.
after that part. So he actually took off from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, though. He actually took yardage from him then, if that's the case. So that means for some of y'all fantasy players that y'all might want to get on that trade bus and trade him while you at least got a chance, if that's the case. Because, I mean, if Le'Veon's actually got an offense around him, the dude is potent. Seen that with Pittsburgh. He was potent for no reason.
Very, very potent. And I think the Chiefs was the perfect landing spot for him. I think he won't get that starter role, but he's going to get a lot of time. And I think he's going to play a lot. But I think Kansas City likes that rotation that they got. You know what I mean? To play in 2 or 3 backs on different.
Yeah, I mean, it'll increase the lifespan of the back too, though, if you're sitting there playing them like that. They ain't taking 300 carries a year, I mean, instead of 150. So, I mean, you at least get 2 years out of them, literally, just from doing that. But I see them being nice, though. Le'Veon Bell is a good addition, just like Antonio Brown is probably going to be a good addition for Tampa Bay. I mean, that's 2 big pickups for 2 power offenses already. So, I mean, if their defense kicks along, that might be the Super Bowl contenders right there on both sides.
Yeah, I think Tampa's all in right now. They're going to give Brady every option they can to get them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're full.
Still ain't a Brady fan, though.
Yeah, I can't stand Brady.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. He does work, but I still can't stand him, though.
Hey, I got a question. I meant to bring it up when you were talking about Washington or the Giants and Philly. So did Casper, the friendly ghost, tackle Daniel Jones, or what happened on that play? What the hell did a gopher pop up and trip him real quick and then go back and burrow back under the field? What the hell went on there?
See, what happened was he skipped his workouts, his balance techniques and everything. He skipped that balance beam when he was in PE class when he was little, and it's just taking effect now. I mean, I'm just joking.
I saw a video of you remember the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, well, I seen a video or meme or whatever you want to say, but he's running and they got the gun line and they shot him and then he trips. But it's funny. I'm gonna post it to our page later.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Rob Dyrdek, Ridiculousness, where he has the little videos like Ghost Hope. You just see dudes falling for no reason. Oh God, it also reminds me of one of my daughters. Bless her heart, love her to death. Don't get me wrong, but we were walking out of a restaurant one day, just literally got some food to go grab and go, and she has nothing in her hands except for a cup. There is no lip to the sidewalk or anything else. She's just walking behind us and just eats it for no reason whatsoever. Turn around like, what in the world was that? She's like, I tripped. I'm like, over what? I'm like, there is nothing there. In her defense, though, she held on to the cup, didn't spill a drop of it.
Hey, that's what counts. That's what counts. She didn't drop the ball.
Oh, yeah, definitely so. Definitely so.
Was there anything else? Yeah, I think Seattle's taking care of business right now.
Expected that.
Yeah. And then we got the Rams and Bears tomorrow night, and I fully expect the Rams to dominate that game. Anything else you want to touch on real quick?
I will say for next week, one of the things I am looking forward to, in a sense, just because I'm looking at Miami to cuss their own self out and their general managers out by possibly letting Tua start over Fitzpatrick. I'm calling it a dumb change. Like, I'm seriously calling it a dumb change at this moment. He's giving you no reason. He has been performing like past expectations, especially with y'all put around him. His running back has actually been performing right now. I mean, his receivers are catching the ball. I mean, You're literally messing up the chemistry that y'all have built over the past 5 games. And if you're going to keep Tua starting right now, I suggest you go talk to Dallas and you go make a trade for some draft picks.
Yeah, 100%. Because I agree with this. This is a dumb move by the Dolphins. Tua, we know, is made of glass, and maybe you know what? Maybe the kid will be a great quarterback one day. But I think he's injury prone, and I think you're taking away some of Fitzpatrick's confidence.
Yeah, the dude's been there. He's done it. Like one of the things I think me and Sam talked about before, even though they looked at me all crazy, all quarterbacks get a chance at least the Hall of Fame for the most part, especially the ones that have Super Bowls or MVP seasons, etc. But you tell me what other quarterback has really been around this league this long that has went to at least 5 or 6 different teams, started for each one, gave them a winning record at points in time, gave them a chance for the playoffs, and still continuously plays at a high level, if not for at least 7 to 8 games out of the season. And you still refuse to actually make him your starting quarterback. For me, I would say Fitzpatrick is one of those rare cases for a backup QB to be voted into the Hall of Fame, even when his season is over, whenever he quits. I mean, he's one of the only other quarterbacks in the league still besides Tom Brady and Drew Brees that are eclipsing the 40 years mark and still playing to a high level. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, I agree with you there fully. I don't know. Maybe it won't bite them. Maybe they'll have success with this. Maybe Tua will give them a bigger spark. I don't know.
Hopefully so, but if not, they're going to have to answer a lot of questions for that one. But yeah, I think the last one is just Bears and Rams. You got Nick Foles or
That's it.
Trubisky versus Jalen
Aaron
Ramsey
Donald.
and Aaron Donald.
Jalen
Yeah.
Ramsey. Yeah, a pretty stacked Rams defense, actually. I think the Rams has got one of the top 5 defenses in the league, in my opinion, anyway. So,
Defense ain't bad. It
yeah.
ain't the best one I've seen them field before, but it ain't bad. 2 years
No, it
ago.
ain't bad at all. I th- I think they've got some work to do on the offense, but
Yeah.
I like Goff. Goff's a good quarterback when he's focused and he's hitting his targets. But when he's off, he's off. When he's having a bad game, it's a fucking bad game.
Yeah. This is one of those games I think it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to which offense actually decides to score because there is one thing I can always say about the Bears. Defensively, them dudes have always been tough. Even after Urlacher, they've always been tough, whether it's the secondary pulling the weight or if it's the front seven pulling the weight. Either way it goes, they've always decided to manage to have some form of defense. It's like the Ravens almost. Like they manage to always have a good, decent defense, even if their offense completely sucks. So it's going to be a battle, though, at least on the scoring side of it.
Very true, very true. But I think at the end of the day, Rams shut them down, and Henderson gets him some good carries. Okay, I'm gonna get in there, may hopefully get in the end zone a couple of times. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they
I'm looking
definitely need to find their starting running back for
Robert
sure.
Wood, yeah, Robert Woods Cup. I think they're gonna have killer games.
Yeah, I see it being a good one. I'm not going to lie about that. That's definitely going to tune in to watch that game. So we'll see. I mean, other than that, I ain't got much left on the NFL side of it. I mean, all the games are going to be kicking off. I mean, it was pretty much what everybody thought it was going to be this week. Who was going to win? Who was technically going to lose? I mean, I think the biggest upset was possibly Dallas losing to Washington, but
I agree. But yep. Well then, guys, we appreciate you. Those that have tuned in, don't forget we're on Spotify, YouTube. Obviously, you can watch us every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday live here on Facebook, uh, 9 Eastern time, I
yeah,
believe, if that's correct. Sorry, I'm in Mountain Time. I don't know. So if you live in the mountains, 7:30 or 7 our time, 9
yeah,
Eastern. But you can find us on Spotify and several other podcast networks. Please tune in, give us a like, give us a review, tell us what you think. And always chime in on the live. Ask us your questions. We're here to answer.
that's right. So just reach out, leave us a comment, leave us a review, hit us up. Other than that, I mean, that concludes our little podcast for Sunday night recap on college and NFL, and we'll see y'all on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Y'all have a good one.